He's going all the way. 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. Texas Tech takes home the victory.
All right, welcome to a special episode of the Broadway Shuffle. I've got Zyler here with me. My name is Brennan. If this is your first time to the Broadway Shuffle, thank you for tuning in. We are reacting live to a big-time recruit for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They continue to make waves in the recruiting process, not just the transfer portal, but now with high school recruits. LaDamion Guyton is the next big name that has committed to Texas Tech, 2027 number one player in the country, potential reclassify to 2026. Zyler, this is getting out of hand. As a Texas Tech fan seeing this, my heart rate is too high. I'm not sure how to take this. What do we need to know about how this process came about and how Texas Tech was able to land yet another massive recruit in LaDamion Guyton?
Yeah, I think it speaks to several things for me. One, Texas Tech is not going to be a flash in the pan for the 2025 season. This is going to be something that we're building a roster for next season and the seasons following that. Guyton is expected to reclassify into the 2026 class. That's, if you're on Red Raider Sports, you can read about that. Obviously, that's not a 100% certainty, but that is the expectation coming out of his camp and some of the people connected with the Texas Tech side of things. Man, it feels like 2 years ago this would have just been. Maybe not, because you had just signed Micah Hudson, but he was such a special case. I never thought that you would be in a conversation where you're going into deep SEC country and sniping the number one defensive end out of their backyard. This is a kid that's right next to Georgia. You know, he's from Savannah, or he goes to school in Savannah right now. He's a David Bailey clone, essentially. 6'3", 240 pounds, going to be a speed rusher, not necessarily a huge power guy yet, but very, very productive through his freshman and his sophomore seasons in Georgia high school football. Played alongside five-star Elijah Griffin last season and was still really productive. So, you know, maybe got a help there. Maybe people were more tuned in on that guy, but what a defensive line that team had last year. I just can't believe it. You know, I've always told my friends that if I won the lottery and didn't tell anybody, there would be signs, and it would be that Texas Tech would sign 5 stars out of nowhere. So, you know, infer from that what you will.
It's coming. You need to head straight to the nearest gas station in Lubbock.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, he's 1,200 miles from Lubbock. He's 188 miles from his hometown in Georgia, just outside of Athens. Yeah. So this would be a huge move for this kid. It just, you know, I think people are getting so frustrated. We see the talk on Twitter with, how is Texas Tech doing this? Are they just, and Blanchard, it's interesting, this news is coming out after Blanchard had come out and said, look, if people are going to underbid players, we will go steal them. It was blunt. Yeah. It was transparent. Is that what's at play here? Is that really what's happening on how Texas Tech was able to secure Guyton? Or is this all money, or is there any recruitment and relationship here at all?
Yeah, I think there has to be some element of relationship. Like, I don't think it's 100% money. To discount the fact that aggressive NIL structuring and revenue sharing structuring, to discount that in this recruitment would be foolish. Now, you know, Blanche and Nance and Joey, they deserve a ton of credit for running their program in a manner that allows them to be really aggressive and go be disruptors. That's something that they've always been known for, is disruptive characters on the college football landscape. And so they deserve credit on that. You know, but I don't want to discount the fact that money plays in this. I think Blanchard has said this, and it was something that came out of the recruiting symposium this past week. He believes that elite high school recruits are actually undervalued, that the benefit that they provide a team is potentially undervalued, where you get really high floors with transfers. You have really, really high ceilings with these high school guys. You know, you may have Von Miller on your roster and you may not know. Now, you also may have, you know, for every 5-star hit, there's a 5-star bust. So there's some risk here, but they're choosing to roll their dice on this particular subset. And man, it's really impressive the way that they're doing this, that they have the resources to do this, but also that they're choosing to allocate them like this. Speaks really, really highly of our program, of what they're looking to do as far as being a disruptive force in the college football landscape.
Yeah, and if you're looking at Texas Tech and what Micah Hudson was really the first big name, right, coming in, then you get Felix Ojo this year as well, and now backing that up in the same offseason with LaDamion Guyton, who is potentially reclassifying. That's the expectation, at least. This is just crazy. I mean, to see where Texas Tech is making headways in the high school recruiting process, and credit to the staff and the university and the administration for making this happen. You know, I think we were going to get into this conversation as well, too. It's something that we're just not accustomed to. Why do you think people are so frustrated that Texas Tech is doing this? Is it really just because you've been the little brother for so long? And what's your feeling and your sense on why people are so angry that Texas Tech is pulling off these recruiting heists, I guess?
Yeah, I think maybe there's something to be said for, and I try to think about like, what if a good comp, like what if Oklahoma State was all of a sudden doing this? How would I feel? And I don't think I'd be as salty maybe as some of the fans, because really where you see it coming from is a lot of the SEC
Mhm.
fans. It's not necessarily the Baylors or the TCUs or the Kansas States of the world that are upset about this. It's the other programs like that. And it's crazy to me to think that over the counter payments are what is destroying college sports, according to a lot of these SEC folk, that being upfront with how kids are getting paid, that's just ruining the game, and it's ruining how the SEC can attract talent. I do think there's something to be said for the kid that's never really played at this game is now coming up and affecting what you're doing. You know, if Abilene Christian all of a sudden started taking a lot of the players that we were going at, I can see where I'd be like, okay, what is going on with this? This is ridiculous. It's messing up what we're doing. Why are kids going to this school that we don't normally think about at all in a recruiting cycle? So I can get that. That's how I would maybe look at how we would view that. Somebody that you see as an inferior program, whether you want to or not. That's how Georgia sees us. That's how Tennessee sees us. That's how Alabama sees us. I mean, those are programs that have won several national titles. We're still trying to find our first conference title in the 21st century. All of a sudden, that program is coming in and stealing kids right from under your nose. I can see where people are like, how is this happening? So I can get it in that sense. I just think that there is not a loophole. We are choosing to be very aggressive in the new age. And, they have that opportunity too. They're just going to have to allocate their NIL to a lot of upperclassmen that are really, really good. And we're choosing to go the other way. So,
Which is kind of Joey McGuire's, I mean, high school coach, high school kids. I don't think Joey wants to live in the portal. I think it's a necessary
no,
tool to have. We obviously did that this offseason with how many guys we brought in, but I think Joey wants to build from high school kids into a foundation. He is a culture guy. And if you're
sure.
going flipping out every year, and so I think it's a testament to him, I think, and their game plan in the next 4 or 5 years. Like, we still want to build high school recruits, but we want the best. We want the best we can get here still. So let's allocate
Yeah.
that how we need to.
And you think about this, like, let's say we go out in the 2027 class and grab a really good quarterback and another really good tackle, another tackle. You're going to have to pay these guys their sophomore and their junior season too. So maybe you don't see as many high profile signings like this. Whereas the Ohio States and the Alabamas and the Georgias, they were doing all of this 2 to 3 years ago. And those kids are now juniors and seniors, very expensive kids to retain on their roster. And you'd much rather have LaDamion Guyton as a junior than you would as a true freshman. And so we're just starting maybe a little bit behind on some of those pieces. So I don't think you'll see this every single year, but choosing to build this way and take swings on high risk prospects now, that's what you're seeing. And I think you'll continue to see that in the 2027 class.
And maybe there will be a waterfall effect to the, hey, look at everyone going to Tech. Maybe I'll take less money to go to Tech. The facilities,
Sure.
professionalism, the coaching. Maybe you start winning Big 12 titles over the next
Sure.
couple of years, and people want to go to Lubbock. I don't think that's out of the question if you continue to build a program that is succeeding each and every year. More recruits will want to come. There's still kids that go to Alabama and Georgia that know they're not going to play and will sit because it's Alabama and Georgia. And I'm not saying you're there yet. You're nowhere close. But you're starting to lay foundations of, we are building a successful football program and giving you the tools from the cold plunge in the locker room to what you're seeing on Saturday. Sure. And it's all top notch. And I think that's a key in this recruiting process as well.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a really good point. The things that you're missing, and it sounds like these are easy to grab, you need to develop a winning culture at a high level and then consistent development of NFL players. Yeah. That's where I think kids are looking, and that's where Saban always got the discount, because you knew, hey, more than likely, if I go play for Alabama, I'm going to get myself into the NFL. And that's where people are willing to take pay cuts. I don't think that you're at that, you're not even close to that level right now, but that's where you'd want to be, where, hey, I know I go to Tech, I get developed, I get to win a lot of games, and I'm going to go to the NFL. I don't need to take maximum salaries like you see maybe now, where we're offering above market.
Right. Yeah, man. Gosh, it's just so cool that we are getting to do these videos more often than not, reacting to big time recruits coming to Texas Tech. I just never thought in our 28 years of fandom, that we've been fans, that you'd really ever get to points like this where you're out recruiting or bidding, however you want to word it, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, South Carolina. It's just
Totally.
it's crazy to see, and it's really fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm gonna wear
It
this.
is fun.
I'm gonna wear this with pride. I mean, you can be pissed at me, Texas. I don't care. This is exciting. I'm gonna celebrate this. So whatever.
It's all the recruiting pitch. That we have now top-notch facilities. Some of the best in the country. You've got a great game day atmosphere. You've got everything that you would really need as a student athlete, and then you add a really aggressive NIL component. That's where I think you're able to win a lot of these. It's not like you're going to Kennesaw State or Kent State or something like that for a really big NIL package.
Yeah.
You've got pretty much everything that you need as a player here.
It's time.
And that's
it's time.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah. I want to close this reaction with the question. I think we were talking about this before getting into what was it exactly? Was it that what do you need to see to not become the next A&M? Because A&M is consistently getting 5-star recruits. They're consistently bringing top talent into College Station, yet you're not seeing it on the field. 8 wins last year. They had the COVID year where they went 9-1, but that was it. I mean, what defines success for you with these recruits? Is it the individual, or is it, hey, you're winning Big 12 championships? Like, what do you need to see to not become the next A&M? Is it just winning? It's just simple as that?
I think it's winning. I think it's ultimately, I think the pitfall that A&M ran into, and there's a number of things, and nothing ever happens in a vacuum, but signing high-level high school players does not mean you've arrived. And I think the unique thing about Texas Tech is you've just always had the underdog mentality, the chip on your shoulder mentality. Nobody at Tech is going to think we've made it because we've signed X amount of players.
Right.
A&M, and the other thing that people got to remember is, signing players just does not equal wins. You have to develop them. It has to be a cohesive unit. You've got to have good coordinators. You've got to have good facilities. You've got to have a good head coach. This is not the arrival. This is setting the foundation. And I think Joey and staff will do a great job of that, where I think when A&M signed that number 1 class, that historic class in, 21 or 22, that felt like the pinnacle. And I don't think, maybe we fall into that, but this is not an arrival. This is setting the foundation for future success.
That's a great
You
way
do
to
that
put
with
it.
players like this, and that's the mentality that they're going to have. Otherwise, you will. You're going to beat your chest for winning the offseason like A&M did for so many years, and they did a great job acquiring talent. You've got to be able to develop those kids and turn it into a cohesive unit that actually wins football games and doesn't just win recruiting ranking battles.
Yeah. And I think cautiously, in the wise words of Casey Cowan, cautiously optimistic, when it comes to teenagers. But defensive edges, usually, if you're just bigger, faster, stronger, and you're a 5-star, you're the number 1 player in the country, you're going to be good. This isn't, some 5-star quarterbacks don't pan out, some 5-star receivers, maybe offensive linemen, but if you're a 5-star left tackle or a 5-star edge, you're probably going to be pretty good. It's rare those guys miss in college. They might not be a first-round draft pick, but they're not really going to miss in college very often. So this is a huge added, a key position, a primary position on your defensive front, which Texas Tech went and addressed in the portal, like you mentioned, with David Bailey. So just a great opportunity, man. I cannot wait to see what this turns into and what the next domino to fall will be. So, all right, man. Well, we'll be back on Monday for a special episode. If this is your first time to the Broadway Shuffle, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel. We've got a lot of fun announcements coming up, merchandise sales coming out soon. We'll let you guys know about all that. But as for today, Zyler, we'll see you next time. Appreciate the time, and we'll catch you guys next time on the Broadway Shuffle. Wreck 'em.
He makes the catch. He's going all the way. 20, 15.